Michelle Obama sat down for a conversation with Oprah, and she spoke on President Obama's legacy.
Your husband's administration, everything, the election, was all about hope. Do you think that this administration achieved that?
Yes, I do, because we feel the difference now.
Yeah.
See, now we're feeling what not having hope feels like, you know? Hope is necessary. It's a necessary concept. Yeah. And Barack didn't just talk about hope because he thought it was just a nice slogan to get votes. I mean, he and I and so many believe that what else do you have if you don't have hope?
Yeah.
What do you give your kids if you can't give them hope? You know, our children respond to crises the way they see us respond. You know, it's like the toddler that bumps his head on the table and they look up at you to figure out whether it hurts. And if you're like, oh my God, they're crying. But if you're like, you know what, babe, it's okay, it's okay. And I feel that way about the nation. I feel that Barack has been that for the nation in ways that people will come to appreciate. Having a grown-up in the White House who can say to you in times of crisis and turmoil, hey, it's gonna be okay. Let's remember the good things that we have. Let's look at the future. Let's look at all the things that we're building. All of this is important for our kids to stay focused and to feel like their work isn't in vain, that their lives aren't in vain. What do we do if we don't have hope, Oprah?
In some ways, I think that's true because President Obama is obviously a mature adult in his demeanor compared to goofball, thin-skinned buffoon reality star Donald Trump. Honestly, I think you can even get his supporters to concede on that point, that Obama is a more calm, reserved, reassuring type of character in his demeanor. So that's the part that I agree with, but overall, I'd say I disagree. And I actually like Michelle Obama, and I know that she's significantly more progressive than Barack Obama. So she's been a positive influence on him behind the scenes. But the reality is, Obama went from hope and change to incrementalism and half measures. Now, I get that if you talk to him, he would argue, I have no choice. I mean, you got to find a way to work with the Republicans and compromise and get stuff done, and so I had to reach out to them. I had to kowtow to them. I had to meet them halfway, and I know they're crazy, so that makes me half crazy for meeting them halfway. But what am I going to do? We had to try to get stuff done. But no, I would argue there's another way. You got to study the model of FDR. You got to study the model of Lyndon Johnson. You crack skulls, you twist arms, you play dirty politics and rough politics in order to get the right thing for the American people. And he didn't do that. That's not in his nature. And he was simply too establishment. Now, overall, soon I'm going to do a final report card for Obama where I basically grade his presidency and tell you, what are the good things he did, what are the bad things he did, and overall, what's his grade. And he is a mixed character, there's no doubt about that. But the reason why he didn't succeed on this hope front is because he didn't bring the change he said he would bring. His thing was hope and change. He didn't bring that fundamental systemic change because the number one problem in our politics is the corruption of the system by billionaires and corporations and big money. So how many did he even attempt to get the money out of the system in a full way? Nowhere near it. Campaign finance wasn't a peep about campaign finance. So if you're not going to fight on the most important front, then you can't win the war. And that's why people went from voting for you, the change candidate, to voting for Trump in this election, who was what? The change candidate. Make America great again. We got to make it great again. We need change to make it great again. And what was Hillary's response to that? Walked right into the trap. America is already great. It doesn't feel great to the people who are struggling, who are living in poverty, who are underemployed, who don't have health insurance or have health insurance that's too expensive, who are looking at us blowing money in 7 different interventions. So wake up, Democrats. You're not as great as you think you are, and it's time for the Bernie Sanders wing to take over the party.